Let me share my screen. Can I get a thumbs up if everybody can see this? All right, cool. And I'm actually going to copy this URL so this can be an interactive demo. Put that in the chat. Go ahead and click that. It's fully mobile responsive, so it should look fine on everybody's end. All right, so my project is Frequency Radio. The birthing thought of this would came from the end of my boot camp when I failed to build this the first time. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really understand how to work with databases and even like some front end things. I was kind of still a newbie at this, but I practiced over a year and some change to understand like how to build better websites, better apps, frameworks, different technologies. No, literally, it was like my redemption song. I was like, no, I have to do this. I want to do this. Yeah, so basically I found out about Next.js, I want to say maybe a year ago, but I didn't really like understand it until my mentor Morgan, he was like, if you're going to build a project, well, I know Next.js, TypeScript, and Supabase. So I decided to go with that, the big three to finish this app and to get that working. So the premise of this app is I wanted to build a real-time chat application that also hosted DJ streams or like live streams in general. So people could have a space outside of their typical platforms that we already have for those to hang with friends, chat, play music, share music, etc. So I'll get into a little demo. If you go to the home screen, you'll see three options. One is to log in, one is to sign up, and Quick Jam. Quick Jam is basically creating a quick user so you don't have to like authenticate, but you get all of the features of the application itself. I will say that once you click log out, let's see, I'll get into it. Once you click log out, it deletes your account. So you will want to, if you want to like, come back to something, you would definitely opt in for signing up and logging in. So once you click on this, this is the home screen. There's a few things that you can do. I think the first thing I want to do is change my username to something more fitting, like Taariq Elliott. That updates in real time. And the next thing I would like to do is create a station. So I want everybody to join the station. Let's just call this one Develop Carolina Final Demo. Actually, let's just go Develop Carolina. The Twitch username I would like to use is this guy, Select the 720. I like his music. Oh, is he not streaming anymore? That's awkward. So let's just see. Well, we'll go with this guy right here. Let's keep moving. Let me see if he's still. Okay, yeah, he's gone. Let's go back to the app. This is the username with the chat, the Twitch username that I would like to use. So what it does is if you are signed up with Twitch, you can put your username into this. And if you have a stream going, this will create the audio context for the entire room that you create. So everybody has like the same stream and that is all synced up with each other. So I'll create that. Now, once you are brought into the chat room, you'll see a few different options. You'll see, if you're the room creator, you'll see an option, the cog icon to update the Twitch username. Hey, how you doing? You'll see a few icons. One is to actually start the audio of that Twitch stream. The other is to show it. If you're on mobile, you would have to hit this first and then unmute it because the way that Twitch works, their embed for mobile devices, you actually have to physically unmute that audio to hear anything. I think when you start it up, you'll see like a little ad because Twitch is very ad heavy, but after like 15 seconds, you should see this person's stream pop up. And I'll go into mobile responsive mode so you can see a few of the options. On mobile, those side icons, they disappear into this, where you have this little popover from Mantine where you can change the color scheme. You can navigate back to the radio stations. And since I created this radio station, I see an option to actually like delete this and you'll see that you are the creator of that. So let's go back into that. If you can hear any audio after clicking this and showing it, throw a thumbs up in this. I can hear it currently. Yeah, Morgan can hear it. She's jamming. I see you. I see you. Okay, cool. So we have that. And another cool thing is I have this little option if you wanted to like share this with somebody, that URL is copied. So I'll open up an incognito window and I'll just go directly to that. So now I'm brought into this, but since I'm not a logged in user, I don't see an option to actually like join that chat, but I do still see the option to play the audio and hear it because I wanted this app to be accessible to the general public. I didn't want this to be kind of like an app that only a few people could use. So I'll go back to my actual session and I would like to upload a GIF of one of my favorite artists, Jamiroquai. They're a band, but this is the guy, the main guy. He is super cool style, super cool hats. Where's my favorite GIF of him? There we go. This one right here. So we'll throw that into the chat with a message that's sending to the Superbase database, and you'll see the images pop up. So if you wanted to send an image and you say favorite picture, go ahead, join me. You can also send links. So if there is, I can just send this little chat. Click on that, this pops up. And again, it takes you directly to that. Jamie, I know that's you. I know for a fact this is Jamie. Yeah, I love this. But yeah, so I think that is the bulk of the demo. Also, if you wanted to change your name, you can just go up here, click on that, and update your username. And like I said, you can, if you wanted to create your own station, you just click on this station icon, go back, create a station, give it a name. If there is a certain Twitch user that you like and you want all your friends to kind of like have a space where you're tuned into the Twitch stream outside of the Twitch platform, go ahead and do that. Also, like I said, this site is live. So I bought the domain Frequency Radio. And that is being hosted through Vercel and Cloudflare. No, through Cloudflare, but I deployed the app through Vercel, which is pretty cool because those two things kind of like link up seamlessly with a few steps. And I think that is mainly it for the demo. I'll answer some of the questions in the chat. Are you not the chat in our third feature demo classroom? Are you happy with the tech stack that you chose? Why or why not? I'm very happy. I initially, like, I'm very glad that I got this working. I ran into a few issues early on where I was trying to create my own instance of a music audio streamer. But if anybody's ever worked with audio and JavaScript and the web, you'll know that it is one of the hardest things to implement, especially when it comes to like real time. I know things like WebSockets and Socket.io exist, but the implementation that I wrote for those, the audio sounded terrible. And I was like, if this is going to be like a streaming platform, I don't want to sacrifice the audio quality to say that like I did something. I wanted it to be like an actual like cool experience where everybody can hear HD audio from the source while I work on learning how to actually like build those features. So in the future, this will be taken over with being able to stream directly from the platform to this room where you don't have to go through Twitch. But for now, like Twitch is like the wrapper of that. And like I said, I chose Next.js, Superbase, TypeScript. I can actually like show some of the code, what that looks like. And also Tailwind. Tailwind I use for every single app nowadays because it is so easy to just write those inline styles and have that like update immediately where you don't have to go through an actual like app.css file. And it's so much quicker to write like text small. And cool thing about this is if you hover over it, you can see what that actual class is. And you can copy and paste these things and put this directly into like your app.css and it'll work the same way. It's just this is what that is. And TypeScript is really cool because it will tell you if something is not right and it'll tell you exactly why it's not right instead of like guessing with JavaScript where it's like, I don't know why this isn't working. It's like because this function expected this type of return and you don't have that. So give me that. And there's a little more like setup that you have to get involved with beforehand, but I think it is definitely worth it down the line. And I'll show you a little bit my database and how I have that set up. I'm using Superbase like I mentioned earlier, and you'll see like these are all the users. I think this kind of jumped up with all of the people that joined today. I have a few different tables. I have one for the rooms, which is posting all the data for all of the rooms that have been created. I have the table for the users where it shows you like the email, the username, the Twitch username associated with that user. So whenever you like create an account or whenever you create a room, name goes to this account. Um, which is pretty cool. And just like I said, this is all happening in real time. So he wanted to update that username with that Twitch stream that you created, this will change instantly so everybody like sees that change, which is also pretty cool. I have a storage bucket with all of the chat images. So these are all of the images. I'm pretty sure Sumi sent this Eustace one, which is cool because it says your name. And I remember she signed up as Eustace. Yeah. So, and there are, you can use like, I have a bunch of different queries that I had to create with SQL in order to get like certain permissions and certain like routes to do certain things and certain people to have authentication for or authorization to do certain tasks. And it saves all of this. And the cool thing about this is if you wanted to create like your own policy and you get an error over here, you can copy and paste that into this. And there's like an AI service that'll like kind of help you figure out like the proper SQL query to write. And once you do that, it'll create a policy, and those policies are here where you can see what that policy is, you can edit it and what exactly it's doing and what that means for the certain route, certain action that you want to like accomplish and the certain role. So Super Basic makes it really easy. They have a really good API of walkthrough to like how to set up these things for different languages, different frameworks. And like I said, I'm using Next.js to handle all of this. So like there's a really good integration between the two. The other question is, what's the most surprising thing you learned as a part of this project? The most surprising thing is that it's very expensive to have to stream audio or to stream like any type of media. I had got a bill because I was using an SDK by the name of uh, 100 MS, and they provide an SDK to like provide frameworks and components to do real-time audio streaming or like, like a live room or like video sharing or video streaming, kind of like Zoom type of thing. I didn't know that they charge for um, only HD video. Everything else is pretty much free up until like 10,000 minutes per month. But I didn't know that. So I was like one night, I think I took like 2, 3 hours to like figure something out, and I was streaming. Then the next day, I get a message saying like, "Oh, you owe a couple dollars," and I was like, "Oh, I'm glad I caught this." So that's one thing that I learned. The third question is, wait for Magic Wand, what's one thing that you would change about your approach? Honestly, I don't know if I have anything that I would change about the approach besides using a different framework. I love Next.js, but I've gotten really into SvelteKit recently, and it's a very, very, very cool framework, in my opinion, that takes you away from like the React sphere or like any of these like React type frameworks. I love Next.js, like I said, but I would definitely try to implement this in SvelteKit, um, because they're, like I said, they're a really cool new framework that has made a lot of like the current apps that I'm making a lot easier. There's still some like things that you have to like look up API wise and such. Since it's such a new framework that it's kind of hard to use AI with it because it just does not know. So yeah, that's the only thing that I would change, and that is all that I have.
Very